Okay guys, this 6 weeks, the old schools are going to be a little bit of triangles to keep that fresh. So special right triangles, SOHCAHTOA, all that fun stuff. So let's take a look at these. In number 1, always, well in all of them, look at what you're supposed to be finding. So this one wants the measure of angle A. So we're looking for this angle. So when you look at this picture, the 15 is the hypotenuse, and the 9 would be the adjacent side. So if you go back and remember SOHCAHTOA, let me write it at the bottom. Which of these am I going to use? Well, adjacent and hypotenuse goes with cosine. So I need to write the cosine of angle A is 9 over 15. Now, based on that, remember, anytime you're trying to find an angle, you have to type it in a special way, and that special way is with the inverse. So if you hit the second button on your calculator, then that's what you'll be typing in, and make sure that you're in degree mode. So second cosine 9 over 15, I'm getting 53.13 degrees. And let me see what the directions say. Unless trigonometry is required. 3 decimal places. So I need 130 is what it looks like. Okay, great. Moving on to the next one. Alright, so moving over to number 2, always look at what it wants you to find. Now if it says ST, that's segment ST, whatever it wants me to find, I'm going to put, I'm either going to circle it or highlight it or something, but I'm just going to put an X on it because I don't know what it is. Now I circle the angle. If I go across, this is the opposite. The one next to it is the adjacent. So opposite and adjacent, that would be TOA, the tangent. So tangent of 29 equals opposite over adjacent. Okay, now X on top, this is actually the good scenario where all we have to do is multiply the 20 over to both sides, and that's just a little bit of algebra, because if you multiply by 20 they cancel over here, so this is good, and that's all I'm going to type in. So what do I get? I'm getting 11.086. And if you're typing these in and you're not getting the same thing as me, you're probably in the wrong mode, so go check for degrees. Okay, the next one, let's take a look at what it wants. Okay, it wants me to find XY. So if I label XY, it looks like that's going to be here. I'll put my X right here. Now I've got a 55 and a 60, and oh my gosh, I think this is a bad picture. I believe that 60 got copied in the wrong place and it's supposed to be here. And I believe that 55 was probably supposed to be there. So let me do that and cross those out. Okay, so this is what my situation looks like. Now I'm not going to do SOHCAHTOA, and the reason I know that is because this is a 60. And we know a different way to do 30, 60, 90 triangles. So with 30, 60, 90, the short side is S, the long side is S root 3, and the hypotenuse is 2S. So what I have to do for this problem is solve what I'm looking at, like 55 equals S root 3. I'll solve that first, then I'll move over to my hypotenuse. So this is probably the hardest one on there. So how do I do that? Well, if 55 is S root 3, I can divide both sides by root 3. And when I do that, for this short side over here, I'm getting 55 over root 3, or, remember this little trick where you rationalize 55 root 3 over 3. So I know that looks gross, but yes, that's the answer. Now unfortunately it didn't want the short side. It wanted me to move over here and give this one. So I need to double what I just got. Now how do you double something funky like this? Well, you only double the coefficient. So 55 times 2, that's a 110 root 3 over 3. And that's my final disgusting answer. Alright, moving over to the last one. I hope it's a little bit nicer than the one we just did, because that was not fun. Okay, this one, it's got a 12 root 3 on it. Dang, something's weird. Okay, I don't know what's happening other than I think there's something is missing. I think this is supposed to have a 60 What a terrible copy. Sorry, guys. So if that's supposed to have a 60, when I look across from 60, that's supposed to be the s root 3. So when I solve 12 root 3 equals s root 3, I know that s is supposed to be 12. So that's going to be my short leg. And then when I jump over here, my long leg is 24. Now what did they want? They wanted NM. So NM is the hypotenuse, 24. And how did I know to double it? Because that's the formula. It's S, 2S, S root 3. So I think once again it was just a bad copy, and that was supposed to have a 60 over there. But that's all we're doing, guys, is a little bit of SOHCAHTOA, a little bit of special rights, and hopefully you'll remember that for the old school.